says Ruth, but I think
it's both of these.
oh no, you know what? She's oh yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's great. Oh, and I love that.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
nice hollow body. It's a very nice guitar. Okay, Josh. I'm plugged in now. You got me coming through? No?
Yeah.
Can you put it through the floor monitor, Josh? What's that? Oh, thank you.
So, which one is it? What number? 6? Is any of it coming through there? Yeah. This guitar's coming through 6. What is it? It's monitor. I don't know. What's wrong with the monitor? 6 for Brandon's guitar.
Brandon's 6.
It's shared with the keyboard. Well, that's like 14. The guitar is shared with the keyboard on 6.
Orleans keyboard 6.
This and this normally share. Now it's this and this share.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. No, if I'm running through, it's running through here fine. It's just not coming out the speaker. Is that self-powered speaker? Does that have an amp in it? Yeah, it does. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I said yes, we do.
Josh, last night.
We're hearing it through our ear on this.
Okay, ladies.
When you took your voice out of the monitor, did we change something up there yesterday?
It's the
you
monitor.
Last time it wouldn't work. This thing was loose.
You okay, Cheryl?
Now you can turn it down.
You all right?
That cord comes out.
It kind of hurt, huh?
I couldn't hold it.
Hold on.
Whoa, dude.
Okay, turn 6 down. Turn 6 down.
6 down. Okay, you turn 6 down. Number 6, his guitar.
There it is.
Okay. Yes.
I don't need it. If y'all can hear me, I can hear myself out there. Let's just go.
We can hear you in our ears.
Okay, great. Okay, let's start things out with the band. This is what I want. Let's see. Rich, are you able to move over just a little bit to your right where I can see Ruth? Thank you. Hi, Ruth.
Yeah, I have this wall.
Okay, so let's talk about a few things. What songs do y'all? Let's see. Do you have that order? Can I see that order of music? Thank you. Okay, good. So I'm gonna. Okay, I want to talk now about. Okay, we're going to talk now about how to put together things as a team. So we talked a lot about worship and what it means to, respond to God in worship. This is what you should be doing. Now we're actually putting this into the context of music, which is going to make it fun, but it's also going to be a lot of work. Now I'm going to go through some things that I had witnessed last night, and not even doing any rehearsal with you. We're going to run through the same songs again today, okay? But we're going to have a complete different approach to what was done last night. So this is why I had you take the oath, because you're going to do things that are uncomfortable and surprising and not the way that you would do it, but that's okay because you're going to learn for the sake of his service, right? Okay, so that's where it begins here. So real quickly, if you look at page 18 is nothing but music theory. I'm not going to go through it, but if you go through like the first page, how we said music, worship begins and ends with God. Well, music begins with education and ends with you. So in other words, what you put into this is what you're going to get out of it. Now, page 20 and on, like I said, we're not going to go through the pages, but I'm just marking them out for you. This book for you, it's for your tutorial, for you to go back through the book and to see the exercises. We have rhythm on page 20. Page 21, we have things about the grand staff, if you want to know what keys are written on a piano. 22. Page 23, we talk about intervals. Intervals are the duration between one note and the other. So what pianists and guitar players use as chords, making chords. Vocalists is good for you because you get to understand intervals between note to note and finding harmonies. Okay. Next page, 24, you got scales. Move on to page 26. These are modes. 27, we have scale degrees. 28, we have chord chart. 29, we have the Nashville number system. And that's really good, essential for you guys, guitar players and keyboard players. Moving on, you got practice space there. You can write in your own music if you want. Talk about the power of melody on page 31. Just keep skipping through, okay? You can look more of this later. 32 is harmony. 33 is rhythm. And now here we get into chord coloring. Now this is where I'm going to just camp here just for a few minutes. When we talk about chord coloring, and let's see. I'm going to be going through, in chord coloring, I'm going to be talking about how we can take a word of a song and expand it into many different ways of doing music and ways of increasing tonality when a word falls on a certain chord. Okay, now this is really for band, but it also does apply for vocalists as well. And I want to talk about stage setup also and kind of run through that. Not for this section, but I will coming up. So when we talk about chord coloring, what does that mean? It means like we put it, as you see here, draw me close to you, right? So we have, right? Draw me close to you. Now don't play. Just let me play it. Okay. Now we're going to go over a lot of things as a band, what to do, what not to do. Okay. And here's one of them. When someone plays, don't just everybody just start coming in. Okay. You want to wait out and just watch, listen. Okay. So listening, we're going to use our ears a lot as far as making music, how to set music in the right pace, vocally and also instrumentally. Your ears they are an instrument, not just the instrument that you play here, by how you hear things by vocal or by band, is also going to help you how to produce it. Okay, does that make sense? So if you're all about just playing but not listening, or singing but not listening, then you're not using your instrument as effectively as you can be. The reality is, within singing and instrumental playing, it should be like a 60-40%, where you're 60% listening more than what you're actually playing. Why is that important? It's the same way of how we speak, right? God gave us one mouth and two ears. Same concept. Listen more than what you're actually playing, okay? So chord coloring, we have this section. We have that Draw Me Close to You. And notice if I'm just playing straight chords right here. Draw me close to you. And I'm just playing the top chords, E. Never let me go. Okay, so that's got one way of how you can hear something. But this time, Ruth, I'd like for you to play with me, and I want you just to pedal the A in the left hand only. Okay, so she's going to pedal in the bass, and I want you to listen and hear it. Hear the chords against the pedal. 1, 2, A, and go. And draw me close to you. Never let me, and use your sustain pedal. Okay, I want you to hold down that chord. And can you bring her up a little bit more? Or I guess you guys can hear her in your system, right? Ryan, sorry. Ryan, can you pedal an A? Let me hear that. 2, ready, go. A, draw me close to you. Nope. So I want you to listen more, and just pedal A and just stay on the A. Now, a lot of these things may sound unorthodox, but I have a purpose for why I'm doing it. Okay, so just trust me. I'm not going to lead you wrong. Pedal the A one more time against the chords that I'm playing. 2, ready, go. Draw me close to you. Never let me go. See how that root doesn't change. It stays the same. And the chords on top of it sounds good, right? Play it again. Ready, and go. Especially when you play the A, and now I'm hitting the D. That's called a polychord. When two chords are put together, okay? And the purpose for doing that is that it creates tension. I'm going to go into some musical examples later of what I mean by that. But if we did also the C high lifted up, let me play this. So we had on Open Eyes My Heart, see you high and lifted up. So don't play. It goes from a B to C sharp minor and then A. Now use your ears and listen to what I'm doing. So we have to see you high and lifted up. Hear the chords, shining in the light of your glory. Now I'm going to substitute coming from B, instead of a C sharp, I want to play an F sharp minor, because what I'm singing is still a C sharp note within that chord structure. Does that make sense? So I'm substituting a chord, but in the melody doesn't change, but the melody of what I'm singing still fits in that chord structure. So we have, see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. So what happens is, when I hit that F sharp minor, it opens up that 4 chord, which is the A, and it makes it more expanded sounding. Instead of it, I lifted up. And there's nothing wrong with doing this, but I'm just playing in a different way. High and lifted up, shining in the light. So I'm going to go over why we do chord substitutions. So go to the next page, page 35. But do you hear the difference, though, tonally, what I'm doing? Okay. Now, this is what we call the chord coloring test, okay? Now, I like it just to be Ruth and I only. Everyone, you're going to sing on the note G, just G natural, okay? And we're going to play a series of chords behind that word that we're singing. Great. And I want you to hear the differences of how it sounds versus what we're playing in chords and what we're singing. Does that make sense? Okay? So here we go. 1, and just sing the word great. So give me a G, please. Great. So everybody's going to sing great like that. Just Ruth and I only. Now, again, hear the chord behind the word that you're singing. And then in your mind, I want you to picture, what does that word great sound like in your head? What do you see in your head? Does that make sense? Okay, ready? 1, 2, great, and great. Next chord, and great. Next chord, and great with me. Ready? F, great. Hold on. Let's do this together. And I'm going to count your notes, so follow me. Okay, so run one more time. G, ready, and go. Great. Next chord, and great. Next chord, and great. Next chord, F, great. F major 7, and great. E minor, great. Last chord, great. See how many times we make the word sound great different? So what was your favorite chord that you heard when we sing the word great? Is it great? Like this, or F, great, or great, or great. And then we have great. See how it's got a different feeling to it every time? That's because we're moving the chord. The chord has a different way of, it's what we call text painting in writing music. We want to create chords that actually emulate what we're trying to sing and put better emphasis on it. So it's nothing that you need to do tomorrow in your Sunday set. I'm just kind of showing this to you as far as making different arrangements, and then we're going to get into dynamics in a second. So when we go through, Lord, I give you my heart. Everybody knows that song, right? The Lord, I give you my heart, right? I give you my soul, right? I live for you alone. Now I'm going to change that up. So we have G, and we have D over F sharp, and we have A minor. Those are the original chords in that song. Now if you look at example 2, this time over the word heart, follow with me, Lord, I give you, it starts with a G, and then Lord, I give you my heart. It falls on a D minor, and then it goes to an A. So now I'm going to sing it and play it. I want you to hear the difference. Here's the example 1. Lord, I give you my heart. I give you my soul. Now here's the example 2. And think of what you hear the word heart. Think of what that sounds like. Lord, I give you my heart. I give you my soul. Stands out over the word what? Heart. So it doesn't sound the same, does it? Let's try another one, example 3. Now we have this time. I want to make an F now over the word heart. Lord, I give you my heart. I give you my soul. Versus, Lord, I give you my heart. I give you my soul. So you hear the word heart, you have this, Lord, I give you my heart, give you my soul. Now, when you hear that, what do you think about? What goes to your mind?
All of your heart.
Yeah, but did the chord fit, and did it sound, did it make sense? And if it made sense, what did it mean to you?
Connected better with your heart.
Right. Dave? Yeah. What she said? I'm kidding.
It stood out.
It stood out.
Sad your heart is with that one.
So this time, we're going to, over the word heart, we're going to put back in D minor. And then over the word soul, we're going to put an F there. And then we're going to resolve it to a C. So it'll sound like this. Lord, I give you my heart. I give you my soul. Do it again. Every breath that I take, every moment I'm awake. So you have these two different feelings. Where did that bring you as a worshiper? Where did that bring you? Closer to God. So what about the way that I was doing it, though? Which we have, Lord, I give you my heart. I give you my soul. I live for you alone. Every step that I take, every moment I'm awake, Lord, have your way in me. So, by the way, I'm also backing off of the notes. How I'm playing it is also different, and also the way I'm singing it. So now we're getting into dynamics. So when you approach a song, we have to think about colors. So we just did that. Colors by what the chord is doing, what the word is doing. And it may not make sense to you right now in a band context. These are things that you want to look at home. So for vocalists, I want you to play piano and, with these chords, sing the melody as you know it. And I know that it sounds funny, but just trust what the chord is doing and then sing the melody anyway, okay? And you'll hear the difference. As a band, we want to do a few things. Now, I want to change it up a little bit. Band, our number one job is to do what? Let me just ask you. What's your number one job? Yes, it's to support the singers. It's not the other way around. Bands typically think, well, the guitar is going to start it, the guitar is going to drive it. No, it's the vocalist. So whoever's driving the car musically is fine, but the driver's here. Okay, the driver is what they're doing by leading. So importantly, we want to follow always what we call the vocal melody. The vocal melody is king. What we can get ourselves into, if we're not listening to the melody, not listening to the vocal lead, then if we get thrown off by guitars, we'll never know it, okay? We have, 5 guitars on stage, 3 keyboards, whatever. It gets real muddy real quick. So how do you cut through the mud? That's the question. How do you cut through the mud? You do what we call layering. Vocal lead and layering. That means not everybody's in at once. Also, we're all playing at a different dynamic level. So what I'd like for you to do is to note, if you turn to page on 36, I've also made some chord substitutions here for you, band, that you can play with on your own. They're self-explanatory, you can read it. But now I want you to go to everybody, go to page 41. Now let me explain what I'm talking about. When we have too much sound in the room and we're not listening, if you look at what I call the frequency and instrument atmosphere, okay, we have on the baseline frequency, we have bass guitar, drums, piano, and keys. That makes up the low-end EQ of the whole music, of the whole soundscape, okay? And then look at the top, we have maybe horns, electric guitar, percussion, and then we have female voice and male voice, and guess who's crammed in the middle? Congregation. Yes, because that's where they sing. So all the notes that we're taking up, we're covering them up, and we're not allowing them to sing. We don't know it, but that's what happens. So when we're all singing, when we're all playing at one, Lord, I love you, and we're kind of loud, right? I give you my soul, and we're just kind of banging the guitar or the keyboard, whatever, then we're way too much in the way. There's so much frequency going on that we're competing for the same space, and that space is where the congregation is singing. So we want to learn how to back that off by color, dynamic, layering, and the next thing is called texturing, okay? Or, texture. I'll talk about that. What I mean by that is this. Look at page 42, band. You will find your identification of what it means for you to be an instrumentalist. What's your slice? How do you find yourself in the band? So as a drummer, the bassist, pianist, acoustic guitar, keyboardist, percussion, lead guitar, this gives you all the ideas of what each instrument should be doing and not just one instrument covering up the whole band. Does that make sense? We never want to get in the way, because once we get in the way musically, then we make it difficult for others to hear. We make it difficult for others to participate. And also we're just running right over the vocals, okay? So this is just a good idea of how to back that off and stop that a bit. So turn to page 43. Page 43, we want to do layering, and we're going to add, we're going to pick a song, and then we're going to add one instrument at a time. Okay, so out of this set that we've done last night, what song do y'all pick that you want to do on together as a team? Let's just pick one song for right now. Okay. Great, let's do it. So that's the reason why we're doing it. It's very good logic. Well, I'm not going to move, so make everybody work around me. Okay, so that was what key? Was it A flat?
A flat.
A flat. So play A flat for me.
Oh, sorry.
The other A flat.
Yeah.
All right, so what I'm going to demonstrate what I mean by this. And I'm just going to kind of, I'm going to point out a lot of things right here that are kind of off the cuff from the book. Again, the book is a tutorial for you to go back through and read on your own. I'm not going to hit all these pages today. So if you were thinking that, thank God I'm not doing, okay? You can believe yourself, okay? So let's do this. Some things that I noticed last night, vocalists, what I want you guys to do is, number one, I know you're not going to like this, okay? But remember, you took this oath that you're going to do things that are uncomfortable, and it's going to be okay. You're doing this for the service of Jesus, okay? You want to lower the music stands, if not, get rid of them, okay? Did he say that? Oh my gosh, I'm leaving.
We've heard that from above before.
Yeah, here's the problem. There's two problems. I'm going to say this with everybody. Everybody, band and vocalists, listen up here, please. When you are looking into your stand, that's how you're connecting leading worship. Band as well. Band, I think bands, you do it notoriously out of default. You have to, because you're wanting to know what the chords are doing. You're staring down here. But too much of this down here and playing, and too much of this down here singing, you're not connecting with them. So can you imagine that what we're doing is, by all these frequencies in the room now, we're competing for that one space, and on top of that, we're not looking at them. Do you see a problem? Okay, if you don't see a problem, then we need to do something with your vision, and I will help you, and I'll have Pastor hold you down. So there's a couple of things that are going on. Number one, we need to break out of the things that are crutching us by forming good habits. And number two, we want to do what I call being musically self-aware. You know what it means to be self-aware? What you're doing. Well, being self-aware means that you're being aware of how you communicate, how you're coming across to others. And if you can see your mind, what other people may see and hear you do, you can see yourself, right? So by the way that you speak or teach, you're constantly thinking, okay, this is maybe how I'm coming across to that one person. I'm going to back down. I'm not going to say this word, or I'm going to choose to say it in another way because they may take it differently. That's being self-aware. By your actions, you don't want to be in someone's way. You want to be respectful. This is being self-aware, acknowledging other people's space. We want to be self-aware musically, okay, to not get in the way of each other, but worship, leading worship aware, being aware of who's in the room, okay? Which is why, again, I changed those songs last night to the hymns. That was another reason, because I didn't think that I was being self-aware enough. That was just my thought. I'm not saying that you need to change the song in the middle of the worship. Don't do that, okay? I did that last night because I knew that they would connect with those hymns, and they did. You could try that too, but I'm just saying be careful not to break the flow of worship, and you don't want to drive your audio engineer and your media guy nuts, okay? So I recommend don't change. But my point is that we want to be self-aware musically, and what does that mean that we need to do? What I was saying earlier, listen more. Listen more. So here's what I want. Singers, we're going to be talking about the needs for rehearsal as well, because there's a lot of things I want to jump into, okay? And we only have so much time. So I'm going to give you kind of a quick crash course. Can I do that? And then I can kind of build up from there. Is that okay? So I want to backtrack a little bit. Is that okay? Okay. Do you have rehearsal?
Sunday morning.
That's not a rehearsal.
Wow.
That's called a run-through.
Okay.
Okay?
Exactly.
It's called a run-through.
We used to, but we don't.
Let me ask you this question. Is practice and rehearsal the same thing?
No.
Why?
Practice is where you work out all the troubles, and rehearsal, you just refresh and make sure you got it.
Where do you do that?
What, practice?
Practice at home, rehearse together.
Well, because everybody said that already. So, but
But
yeah,
that's what you do. I mean,
let's understand something. Practice is not rehearsal, and rehearsal is not practice. They're not the same. You practice at home what you should be doing during the week. Your rehearsal is what you rehearse by what you practiced, and then put it together as a team. And then what you practice is what you run through on Sunday morning, not a rehearsal. But if you're doing so much defaulting in the rehearsal before Sunday, you're setting yourself up for major failures of music communication and communicating leading worship also. You're taking on way too much stress than what's necessary. You're making it too complicated for yourself. And you're also not allowing yourself to do what? Worship. Because like I said before, when you're too busy with the mechanics, you're not worshiping. One of my famous music directors, and he's my board member at Worship Team Training, his name is Lamar, and Lamar is he's a Motown record producer for years, and a gospel singer, and just a great guy, fantastic pianist. And I was in rehearsal with him one day, this is years ago, and he stopped us and he said, look, he said, your playing is good, but you're doing a lot of this, and you're doing a lot of this. He said this to me, and I'll never forget it. He said, I'd rather you miss the mechanics instead of missing the moment. Because if you miss the moment of worship, it's gone. You're not leading anymore. You're so trapped in the mechanics. And then he said this that really kicked me in the tail. He just said, look, when you're so focused on the mechanics also, you're making it about you and you're not making it about God. And I mean that in a way of when you're making it about you, I don't mean that you're trying to be arrogant. I just mean that you're trying to, oh man, I hope I get this right. Oh man, I hope I get this done. And I hope I don't mess up vocally. You're making it about you. We're becoming the Martha within our own fix of trying to make music, when we got a bunch of Marys out there that just want to be led. They just want to be, that's the whole art of leadership, is that people genuinely just want to be led. That's it. Naturally we follow, but we follow good leaders. We don't follow ostrich leaders, who just stick their head in the sand. And when things get tough, things are going to get tough as a worship team. That's okay. This is you're in the enemy's first line of fire. That's why God put the Levites in front of the battle. Remember? Well, that's where you are now. Just thank God they don't have any guns with them. Nobody walking in either. Or spears, yeah. Shackles, maybe. Maybe they'll say that after worship, depending on how well you do. Right? I'm kidding. But when we lead worship, we want to be free of these things. Okay, so, and how to be free. So vocalists, you need to stagger out more. What I like for y'all to do is if the leader, and that's the number one thing too. Okay, I'm going to change places in a minute, but are you the worship leader, Dave? Do you lead worship here? Okay, then you need to be standing here, not there. You need to be standing right here where I was last night. Do you stand there on Sunday? Okay, you need to. If you're the keyboardist or the vocalist, you need to stand out because they want to follow. And if they feel like there's 18 people up here, they're like, was this Chicago? I guess I'll just go to the drummer today, So, and they just pick and choose where they want, but then you're not bringing a focal point. You want to bring a focal point of worship, but you also want to bring a focal point musically. So if Dave is leading, drummer, keyboard, bass, you want to be following this guy, what he's doing, where he's leading. Where he leads, you will follow, period, no matter what. Even if he messes up, keep on going. Keep on going. Vocally now, we need more presence from you. Because last night, you're all crumpled there together, and the stands are right in front of you. So I want you to be more spread out. And I would start by this. From where you are at the very edge, coming in to more like a diagonal line. So Cheryl, all the way out to the edge. So you're more diagonally this way. Yes, that way. Why? Because that way your worship leader can see you. Last night I couldn't see you because all I saw was just a row of heads. Right. Just exactly. I couldn't see anybody. So only Cheryl was the only one I could see. And every now and then I'd see you pop up like this, and right. And also, Ben, it was there was just so much going on musically that I don't think that musically, we want to make sense. Musically, we want to make good space. We want to make it solid and good. And if that means that I don't play, then that's the best advice I can give myself. That's the best decision choice that I could do. Now I want you back where you were. I don't know. Don't be cheating. Don't be cheating. Right there's good. That's just an excuse. Come on. Okay. So we want the vocalists. We want the vocalist to be diagonal. Okay, guys. Hey, up here. We want the vocalist to be diagonal this way. And being also with you guys, I want y'all a little bit more spread out as well so that you're not clumped together. But with you moving up here, you're going to free up that space in the middle. So getting back to rehearsal, it's real important that you designate a night during the week to rehearse. And if it suffers because 2 people are not here, so be it. Look, this past week, I led a rehearsal. It was just myself and my keyboard player. I knew that everybody was out anyway. That was okay. But I had to look at it as if she was the only worship team that I had, then that's what I'm working with. So if there's only 2 guitar players that show up, 1 singer that night rehearse, then you rehearse. You rehearse as if that's the only worship team you have, or if you got 20 people on stage with you. You rehearse it that seriously because your music matters to God.